Hi friends, I know it can be startling, but yes, I am a bear, and I am here to let you know that I just watched Loki episode 2. It's so good! Is it too much? Nah, it's just the right amount. The right amount of Loki. There's a lot of things we gotta talk about in this episode. I got theories. I wasn't expecting it to go in this direction. There's things that happened that surprised me. There is like what is going on with Renslayer? What is there a dark dimension connection here that I'm seeing? I don't know, but we're about to get into it. So really what we need to talk about is how good everyone's acting is in this episode. The acting is so good. And I'm not just talking about Brad Wolfe, although Brad Wolfe could be getting that Oscar win, I think, for Zaniac. I'm just saying. Zaniac, it's an art film. So in this episode, what happens is Loki and Mobius continue their search for Sylvie, and they find her. Just like in season 1, they find her. They also find X5, who seems to have abandoned ship. Remember at the end of the last episode, everyone was supposed to be going out to hunt Sylvie? Well, that didn't go great. And yeah, he was on another Earth, being an actor named Brad Wolfe and being in a movie called Zaniac. So they find Sylvie, and then they also find out through Brad that Dox has her motive, which is to basically get rid of all these other timelines to still, you know, maintain the sacred timeline, even though that's clearly history. She tries to blow everything up. It does not go well for anyone because a lot of things do get blowed up, but not everything, apparently. So Sylvie, who is hiding out on a world where she's working at a McDonald's, she ends up going back to that after and leaving Loki and Mobius to once again deal with this crazy thing. And now they're looking for Renslayer, see what Renslayer's up to. Also, they need Miss Minutes' help, so they gotta try to figure that out because everything's getting a little crazy. And Obi needs to get down there to fix all the loom. The loom. Man, this is another thing. Whoa. I just thought about this. The loom. I wonder if that could be in reference to Earth 001. Is that what it is? Yeah, Earth 001 is the loom world and web of life and destiny, which is where the inheritors are from. And I don't know if this is a thing, but in Across the Spider-Verse, that's where I thought we were going. Okay, I guess let's talk about theories first. We're going to talk about some theories. Here we go. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so in Across the Spider-Verse, part 1, I thought that Miguel was going to be, because he was like a vampire, I thought maybe he was going to secretly be an inheritor. That's not where they went with that, at least not in part 1. So if that is the case, we won't know until part 2. But now with the loom, it's making me think of Loom World, and I'm wondering, could this be an inheritor thing? Are the inheritors coming? I'm just dreaming. I really love the inheritors, even though I know it's weird. But you know what? A girl can dream. So it could be a connection to the inheritors, and that would be a connection to some Spider-Man stuff. I also have a theory that we might see a connection to the dark dimension. If you guys remember at the end of Multiverse of Madness, Clea shows up, who is in the comics Doctor Strange's wife, and they end up going off to the dark dimension together. And Zaniac actually has a connection to the dark dimension. So Zaniac is a Thor villain who shows up for the first time in Thor 319. And he is basically possessed by this parasite, makes him all evil, but he was already kind of evil. He is actually named Brad Wolfe as well. And he, the parasite that infects him is this demonic entity, which is named Zaniac as well. I don't know if it's by coincidence, because that's also the name of the character in the movie he's playing in the comic in his story. But it possesses him, and so that could be a connection to the dark dimension with Zaniac, or they could be like alluding to that, if it's not obviously going to be the same, I don't think, in this. But I don't know. It could be an illusion. Look, last season I wasn't doing these videos, but I was calling Kang for a little while. I actually said, I think, near the beginning of the show that I felt like Kang was going to show up. People were talking about it, and then everyone was like, they're not going to introduce Kang in this show. That would be too crazy. And then they did that. So I also thought this show was going to lead us to Secret Wars, but now I'm confused because we just blew up a bunch of timelines Although, and it looked like there was like 3 maybe left at the end. But I don't know, Sylvie's was still fine. So maybe, you know what? Maybe the timelines are fine and I'm just a worrisome little bear. I have a theory about where Renslayer is as well. I feel like Renslayer could be off trying to eliminate all the other Kangs if she's really working for He Who Remains and was really like close with that Kang. But I don't know, because Renslayer is also the love interest of Kang the Conqueror in the comics. So perhaps she wants to hunt Kangs, but she's gonna get swept up off her feet. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Also, where is Victor Timely at? Where is Victor Timely? I'm sure he's coming. But yeah, there was a lot of things in this that were so good. Okay. Loki feeling like Loki is a thing we gotta talk about. I love that Loki is back. That whole opening with Loki chasing X5. As soon as he started to chase him, I was like, oh, the Loki switch just went. I just saw Tom Hiddleston transition from really, you know, Tom Hiddleston who's playing Loki to, oh, there's Loki, like 150%. That sequence was so great. It was super fun. Also, just seeing how much fun I feel like Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson are having in this show together is amazing. There was also a moment where Owen Wilson as Mobius, was standing in his brown suit with his little tie. And I know it's Owen Wilson. Like, it's very much he's being Owen Wilson. But there was a moment when he was talking like this, and I just literally saw Mobius in the panel. And the way the light was hitting him, and how his hair is really light, so it kind of makes it, like, he's not bald like Mobius is. Like, Mobius, I think, only has a little bit of hair in the comics. But his mustache and... Oh, no, I guess Mobius isn't bald. He just has, like, a really intense, like, big, mostly forehead and widow's peak. Just the way the light was hitting Owen Wilson with his mustache and the way he was standing felt very Mobius. It was really, really, it was cool. Everyone's working overtime when it comes to the acting in this show. The actor that played X5 was also amazing in the scene where Loki tries to basically squish him in a box. In a time box? I don't know. You know what it reminded me of, that scene? It reminded me of, is it Time Runs Out or is it Infinity? Infinity event. Thanos at the end. I mean, there's many Infinity events, but this one's just called Infinity, okay? So the Infinity events happened in 2013, I think, 2013 through like 2014. And the way that ends is like Thanos is like in this box that freezes him in time, basically. So he's still experiencing time, but he's like kind of frozen. He can't really like move through the box. And it just reminded me, it looked very similar in my mind to that box. I don't know if they actually look similar, but in my mind they do. But yeah, it did remind me of that. And I thought it was terrifying. I loved the contrast between Loki in the previous scene where he's trying to intimidate X5, Brad, and Brad is not intimidated by him. Because when I was watching the scene, I was like, Loki, I'm not buying it. You know what I mean? Like, this is clearly a front. But in this one, it's like Loki, the great actor, showing up. You really believe it. And to the point that I don't even know how much of it really was an act. I think part of it's real, for sure. I mean, all good acting is in part real, comes from a real place. So maybe Loki's just using that rage like he was saying he did when he attacked Earth. You know, he's just really mad at his mom and his brother. Okay, sometimes you gotta rage out and try to conquer Earth. So yeah, the acting was amazing. The only thing I will say for the acting was the eating was not good. I don't know why. I just really didn't like something about the way they were eating the pie, not the way they were stabbing it. I know they have to like maintain the pie, can't be breaking it in half and stuff because continuity is an issue when you're eating. But the way they were putting the fork in their mouth, I don't know if they just had to do that scene for a long time and they really didn't want to have to pretend to eat this pie anymore / to actually eat the pie. Because, you know, you're actually eating little bits of it and you're trying to eat as little as possible, because otherwise, if you're doing that scene for like a while, you're gonna be regretting that choice to eat so much pie, I'll tell you that much. But something about it just didn't feel real. It's a very small complaint, but there it is. The product placement, though, was excellent in this episode. It made me want McDonald's, and you know, it meant that Sophie's timeline was going to be safe, because I was like, well, they probably aren't going to like you know, destroy the McDonald's. That I don't think McDonald's would allow that. They'd be like, you can't just blow up the McDonald's. That would not make us look good. So I knew the McDonald's was going to be safe, and it was. So yay. Do I keep saying Sophie again? Please, Lord. I think I did this last video a couple times. So if I've said Sophie at any point during this, I'm sorry. I mean Sylvie. I don't know why in my mind I keep wanting to call her Sophie, but it's Sylvie, baby. Sylvie. Remember this, Amanda. Sylvie. Oh, you know why? Maybe it's because she's played by Sophia DiMartino. Maybe that's why I want to say it. I'm like combining Sophia and Sylvie. But yeah, Sylvie does end up going back, and before she leaves, Loki says to her, no, don't go. It's hard to stay. And then he kind of does this thing where he like watches her go and looks up at where she was. And it's like you can see the thoughts moving, but I don't know exactly what he meant. I think he meant it's hard to stay, which is why you should stay. Because like for him, maybe it's hard to do the right thing, but he knows it's the right thing to do. Or like he's talking about, you know, I've been running my whole life and like you need to stop running because that's what you're doing instead of confronting this thing. Or if he just meant it's hard to stay when you're not here and there was more that he wanted to say. I don't know, but there's something there and I can't wait to see that moment between them. The acting is so good. I can't. I just want to watch everyone act with everyone in this. Everyone's so good. And Casey meeting Obi, there's too many good moments. I think that's mainly what I wanted to say, though. I mean, yeah, what does it mean that all these timelines are blown up? Does that mean, I thought this was going to be a lead into Secret Wars. Could that still be connected to that? I don't know. It's definitely reminding me of in Secret Wars, that was something they tried to do when the incursions were happening, was they kind of tried to just like blow up the worlds that were going to bump into each other, but it didn't work. So maybe if we're taking inspiration from that, even though I know we're getting a Secret Wars project of some kind, I don't know if it's a movie or a show, but maybe this is still taking inspiration. It's the idea of like, you know, they tried to do that and then that's going to have some sort of backfire. I feel like it's not that easy. You can't just, once everything's unleashed, you can't just start like blowing up timelines and then that fixes it. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Another great episode, keeping me guessing, just well put together, looks amazing. Yeah, just the eating, that's the only gripe I have. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned lots, and I'll see you next time. All right, thanks. Stay nerdy, friends. And yeah, don't forget, we got memberships. Alternate Loki, always be reminding you. All right, I'll see you next time. Stay nerdy, friends. Bye.